Ric Bucher joining us live from the Bay, from his crib. Let's move to LeBron James. And LeBron, what's more important for LeBron, finishing the season? And there's a lot of conversation about how we can finish this NBA season. LeBron has been on record. He doesn't want to play unless he can play in front of fans. And there's been a lot of conversation about playing in front of empty arenas. What's more important for LeBron, Marcellus, finishing the season or playing in front of fans?
Oh, absolutely, it's finishing the season. Even him talking about he wouldn't play in front of fans, he started to walk that back and kind of put it more in the light of jest, because he realized that may be a necessary measure to get this season going. But at his age, knowing that he can see his expiration date no matter how distant it is, he still has more basketball behind him than in front of him. So he's counting down these numbers, and at 35, you don't want to waste opportunity. And this is really terrible timing for him, as he even talked about, because it takes forever to get into shape, and it takes no time to get out of it. And that's what LeBron is scared of, and I'm sure he's scared for his own team, that they may have missed a golden opportunity because of this interruption.
It's not finishing the season, so by default, it is a desire to play in front of fans. But the desire to play in front of fans is really a cover for, I don't want to play these playoffs when I know I'm going to be at a disadvantage. You're right. The age is a factor. And while we may look at him and say, man, he doesn't look 35, he knows he's 35, and he knows that he's calibrated things very carefully this season in order to not look 35. But the reality is 2 months off, having to start from zero, playing with one of the oldest teams in the league, he knows that their chances, he's now at a disadvantage in terms of being able to get this done. And he looks much better if there is no resumption of the season. And we just look at it and say, well, LeBron had the Lakers in first in the West. If it hadn't been interrupted, if it hadn't ended, he very likely would have gotten a championship in Los Angeles, whether he ends up getting one down the road or not. So coming back, LeBron's always been very careful to make sure everything's skewed into his advantage. This is one situation. If we come back and play at his age with his team, he will not have that advantage.
We may have to circle back to this topic tomorrow, because you have blown my mind, Rick, and I need more time to marinate on what you just said. But I want you first to clarify why you think LeBron James is afraid to play basketball. I just don't buy that. I think this layoff, I don't think that makes him fearful of finishing this season. And so you clarify that, and then, Marcellus, you respond however you want, because I just need time to think about this. You've blown my mind.
Well, he's talked about how everybody says that this layoff is a positive, and it's not. He said on the podcast that it's not. At his age, getting 2 months off at this stage, physically, it's starting from zero. And so going up against a Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Kawhi Leonard or a Paul George, and I dare say, Marcellus, you can speak to this. The way you prepared to play when you were 31 and 32 in Jacksonville was a far cry different than when you first came into the NFL. That's what LeBron's looking at, and he realizes, I'm at a disadvantage here. This is not, I could look bad. We could get knocked out early. He doesn't want to run up against that when, if they don't play again, we simply look at what he's accomplished to this point, which has been very impressive.
Yeah, Rick is hitting it right on the head in terms of, I think the Lakers have the second oldest roster. So let's just talk about a collective age being older than most of the league and whoever they're going to face going forward. And think about your own family. Think about yourself, whether you're Whitlock, myself, anybody who's getting up there in age. When do you feel your best? After you warm up and you got things rolling. When do you feel your worst? When you first wake up after you rested. Guess what? LeBron's like, y'all out here saying, since I'm old, I need rest and this is going to help me. It's just the opposite effect. It's going to be just like him waking up for the first time, but it's going to be latter season, if not playoff time. He needs time to get this engine revving and rolling again, and that's what LeBron is trying to whisper, but it's starting to come out loud and clear.
All right, listen, we got to move on and get to Uncle Jimmy. I'm going to end this segment by saying something very inappropriate. That's what I'm known for. I'm sorry, apologizing up front. But y'all did kind of make me understand your point of view. You guys are both married. Those of us that are single, this coronavirus has me afraid. When I get back out to Wiley's and get mingling around, I am worried about restarting my engine, and my performance early will probably be shaky. So if there's any ladies out there, you got to cut me the benefit of the slack. I'm older. It's going to take me time to get back in rhythm. I get where you guys are coming from. All right, stick around.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.